What up, is Marcus with Dynasty Football Dads. We're going to be doing starts of the week for week number 2 here. I got quarterbacks, I got running backs, I got wide receivers, I got tight ends. I do not have defense and kickers because I don't care. We're going to be going through, well, I don't care right now. we're not caring. So quarterbacks, we're going to start off with Anthony Richardson here. Rookie quarterback. And the biggest thing is he plays against Houston. I've talked about how bad Houston's rush defense is, especially last year. Now, I know that Lamar had a horrible game against Houston. But, I mean, Richardson led the Colts in rushing, 40 yards. I think Richardson has a pretty high floor here. And if you're looking for a streamer or if you're looking for a start, I think Anthony Richardson could actually be a really good piece, a really good low floor. I think you're looking at probably 50 yards rushing, and then even if you throw in 150 yards passing, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're looking at a 10-point minimum with no touchdowns, and I think that he'll get a touchdown either somewhere. So now you're looking at like a 14-point minimum, and I think in this day and age, getting a 14-point minimum with that chance of getting a rushing touchdown or a couple of touchdowns like he did last week, I really like that play here. The next one is Geno Smith. Geno Smith had a bad week last week, but he goes against the Lions. The Lions are the worst since the beginning of 2022 against the quarterback position. Patrick Mahomes, you saw how he threw it to open wide receivers. They just couldn't catch it. And I think that was just a weird game. I think Geno Smith with JSN, with DK Metcalf, with Tyler Lockett, I think it's going to be a really good game for Seahawks. I think they're going to get back onto the bandwagon here after their week 1 dud. The last one, and this one's a little bit trickier, but it's Daniel Jones. He had 43 rush yards actually last week, and he goes against Arizona, which Arizona, 4th worst defense for touchdowns, 9th worst, meaning like they let up a lot of touchdowns and they let up a little bit fewer yards, but 9th worst for the yards. And so Arizona's defense is not great, and Washington did not do well against the Arizona defense, but I think Giants get back on track here. I think they show why Daniel Jones is paid all that money, and I think he ends up getting a 20-point game. Running backs here. Now, this is a little bit trickier, but I am going to go with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook against Dallas. I think that the Jets have to run. And maybe Dallas just knows that, but you have to be able to pound the rock. And I think Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall give a really good balance here. And I think if the Jets want to have any chance at winning this game, they know what they need to do. They need to run, and manage Zach Wilson, at least for this game. And so that's why I see both of them having a decent game. Again, you might be in situations where you look at Dallas and what they did to the Giants, and you might get scared, but I think this is a good place to potentially put them in that little flex area. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, again, against Seattle, 3rd worst since the beginning of 2022. They let up a lot of rushing yards. They let up a lot of rushing touchdowns, and I think Gibbs is going to have a better game. I think David Montgomery is going to have still a solid performance here. So I think both of them are starters here. I even would put David Montgomery into a low-end RB2. I think Jahmyr Gibbs has that more elusive, more burst. I still put him into that kind of same area. You're looking at 18 to 24, but again, starters nonetheless. And then the last one, if you're looking for a deep, little bit flyer, Zach Moss. Zach Moss is going to go against Houston as well, and he might be the only, I guess you could say, power back through there. Deon Jackson is more of a pass receiving back, but I think that Zach Moss gives you that ability to, I don't even like saying it, because Zach Moss is not the most talented running back, but when in a field where you have Evan Hall that's hurt, Deon Jackson as, I think, the second fiddle. I think he's more of a pass-catching back than a actual touchdown goal line back. And so that's where Zach Moss, I could see him fall into the end zone. And maybe it's Anthony Richardson. So it could be Anthony Richardson. He's maybe the goal line back. Wide receivers, I'm doubling down. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I mean, you're going against the Bears. The Bears were putrid against the Green Bay Packers. And so we'll see if Green Bay is in, or well, Green Bay, if that was just a little week 1 fluke, or if the Bears can actually step it up. But Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, I like both of them here, and you kind of see that, especially Mike Evans, he was the number 1 primary target for Baker Mayfield, and so I like that here. Mike Williams, unfortunately not the one that passed away. RIP to that Mike Williams. That's a sad story. Mike Williams, the one that's against Tennessee, who had 5 targets, 4 for 45. I think this is a bigger chance here. Tennessee just is putrid. I like that word, putrid. They are horrible at the pass defense. And so right now, I think Mike Williams is a big start here. And if Austin Eckler is hurt and doesn't play or is minimalized or on a snap count or a pitch count or whatever it might be, Mike Williams might be even a better start there. And I can see him with a big 50-yard catch as almost like a baseline here. So Jackson Smith-Njigba, he's the other one. And against the Lions, he had 5 targets. And he led the team in targets even with his little wrist injury. And so I think Jackson Smith-Njigba is a start here. I really do. I think he could be a flex play. I have some decisions in my hand. I have Jordan Addison versus JSN, and I'm going to start Jordan Addison. But if you have maybe a different player, man, should I start Jordan Addison or JSN? Well, you guys will be able to watch this before the Vikings game. I'm gonna go with Jordan Addison, but JSN in a lot of different areas could be a flex play here. Nico Collins is another deep one. He had a big, huge target share for Houston. They go against the Colts. Houston's going to put up some sort of points, I would assume. So I think Nico Collins could be a desperate play in here, or fill in here if you need be. Two tight ends. We're going to go with Evan Ingram. He's going against Kansas City. We saw what Kansas City, they let up things to Brock Wright and then Sam Laporta. And so I think that Evan Ingram is going to be used a lot here. Trevor Lawrence is going to have another good game. Against Kansas City, I think they're just going to be a little bit higher scoring. We're looking, Kansas City's still going to win, especially with Kelsey. But I think it's going to be closer. I think it's going to be 27-24. And if you're going to have 51 points, I want Evan Ingram out of that. Hunter Henry versus Miami. Hunter Henry, we're doubling down again. He's the tight end number 1 right now. I don't think that's going to stay, but I think he's going to have another game, a good game against Miami. Miami did let up some yards and stuff to Parham and to Gerald Everett. Hunter Henry is the guy to go. It's not Mike Gesicki. So Hunter Henry, I think, is going to have a decent, again, floor. And some of these tight ends are getting 0 catches like Dallas Goedert or getting 1 catch for like 12 yards. We need a tight end that's going to get 4 for 35. And I think that Hunter Henry gives you that baseline this week and saves you. And last time I said that to Hunter Henry, I'm fairly certain he got a donut. So let's see if we can avoid that donut this time. All right, this is Marcus. I will see you guys tomorrow for Sits of the Week. We're going to bench some players.